Let us deal with the next bit of pointers, where I'll be using the concept of pointers to pass a two-dimensional array to a function. We have seen in the previous videos how exactly we use to handle the concepts of arrays and how pointers will help us to pass an entire array as a parameter to a function and manipulate the data within the function so that they can be used within the function as well as in the main. Now there are two conventions of passing an array as a parameter to a function. One by the normal concepts of arrays and the other is by the concepts of pointers. Now, if I say that I have to pass a two-dimensional array as a parameter to a function, let us go with the conventional method where I'll be using the concepts of arrays to pass the two-dimensional array, right? Let us look at a simple code. Now, assume that I have an array declaration which has got some rows unknown. Let the compiler calculate this particular unknown values and three columns in this. For the first row, I have these elements. For the second row, I have these 4, 5, 6 as element, and for the third row, I have 7, 8, 9. So the array declaration now contains total 3 rows and 3 columns, right? So with the 3 rows, so it means that the first bracket goes as 3. When an array is initialized with values, as per the concepts of two-dimensional array, when an array is initialized with values in the declaration, then the first bracket can be kept as empty. The first bracket or the first value is automatically calculated by the compiler based on the number of values which exist in this particular part. So if I have say 3 set values, I have 3 set of values automatically known as 3. Now, if I increase the number of values, obviously the first bracket will have different values. Assume that now I want to print all these numbers. So for this, what I'll do is I'll give a call to a function called as print by passing what? Whenever a two-dimensional array has to be passed as parameter, you should send across 2 values. First is the name of the array. What is the name of the array? ARR, comma, then the number of columns of that particular array. You should never send across the number of rows. You should always send across the number of columns. So how many columns are there total? The columns are 3 in this particular case. So I'll say pass this. So whenever an array is sent as parameter, you should pass the name of the array and then the number of columns of this particular array. Now how these elements are collected on the function? Suppose if I say that the function is going to be written at this place, what we are passing as the first parameter? The first parameter is a two-dimensional array. Since what I'll do is I'll say int array of the values of n, comma, the second argument let me collect it as int m, right? Now here, what is the value of n? N will be automatically decided by the compiler because when this declaration goes, this value is automatically copied at this place. So the third argument is 3 and here I have 3 rows that will be 3 copied at this place. So here when I am passing the array, you feel that you are passing only the name of the array. You are not passing the name of the array, you are passing actually the array reference ARR, which has got first bracket as empty and second bracket as value. So it means that the second bracket 3 is automatically copied as n and the first value indicates the number of rows, that is 3 rows, so that 3 will be copied onto m. Once we pass this value, then I can use normal conventions to access the entire array. I can use a simple for loop. Now at this place, I should use the conventions of array. The array conventions are what? Array of ij. Here in the entire discussion, I had not used any concept of pointers. We just passed the array. Automatically the numbers were calculated. Automatically the row was passed and the column was passed. Now, if row would have been identified at the beginning, so if you have a declaration as row, you should send across the valid rows in that particular array. And there I'll use mn and the second argument as m1, and that m1 will be used at this place. This is how conventionally we pass an array as a parameter, where I have not used the concepts of pointers. Now, let us see how do I use pointers to pass this particular array. Now, before we say this particular pointer, we have to understand something called as how this memory allocation goes internally for a two-dimensional array. We have said this in our two-dimensional arrays videos. If you feel that you need to understand those videos first, so you can recollect what has been said in the two-dimensional arrays, and then you can proceed with this particular video. Suppose if I have a declaration as a of phi and say a of phi 3. When I say a of phi, that is in one-dimensional array. When I say a of phi 3, that will be two-dimensional array. When I say a of phi, there will be a set of phi locations which are continuous. When I say a of phi 3, then in that case there will be 5 rows and every row will have 3 columns. We might visualize this as a phi of 3 matrix. But internally, this phi of 3 will not be stored in a matrix format, it will be stored in a sequential locations. We have said this, and we have said even the memory diagram in that particular video. You can refer to that particular video whenever you feel that the pointer concepts are troubling you, right? Okay, now let's put the same code. I'll use the same example. Let me write first the main function. Let me have the same declaration, int arr, again 3 rows with the values as 1, 2, 3. Now the array declaration remains same. Now what I need to do is, here I had to set some values. When you are using pointers, then you should set the number of rows and the number of columns. Here, how many rows are there? 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. Since what I'll do is, I'll set manually m equal to 3. Now here, if you are using the arrays concept, then the rows are calculated automatically by the compiler and that will be sent across to the function automatically. But if I'm using pointers to collect the arrays, in that case you have to send across the manual count of rows as well as columns. Hence what I'll do is, I'll count the number of sets, that is 3, and in each set how many elements are there? 3 elements. So let's set n as 3. Now when we pass, we have to convert this particular array name into a pointer. We have to typecast this. So let me call the function as print. We have to typecast this. This array is arr of type integer. So I had to convert or typecast this to an integer pointer. So whenever we are passing, it should be always an integer pointer, comma, the value of m and the value of n. We have to explicitly pass the rows as well as columns, and the array need to be typecasted to an integer pointer. Clear? So now this particular arr is not passing the address, it is passing a pointer. So on the other hand, you have to use pointer conventions for handling this. So first is a pointer. So let me say int asterisk arr, comma, the number of rows are still m and the number of columns are still n. The function doesn't return any value, hence it is void. So here, whenever a pointer is passed at the other end, I have to collect it as a pointer, right? Now let's define the rows and columns as I and j. The same good old for loop will help us to capture the values or access the values. Now the only change which you are going to observe when a array is passed as a pointer and array is passed as an array, In the previous example, we have seen how an array is passed as an array. Here, I am passing this array as a pointer. Since what I did was I have created this particular pointer. So here, what I need to do is I need to convert this as the array name plus the row value. What is the row value? I, multiplied by the total number of columns, that is n, plus the column value, that is j. Now this will get me the exact value where it has to access or it has to display the values. How this particular convention works, for that we need to understand by the memory diagram. Suppose if I put a memory diagram in this fashion, 3 rows and 3 columns. If the first address is say 10, I am writing now this as an address. I am writing the address of each of these blocks. It will not be a 2-digit number, it will be a 4-digit, 5-digit hexadecimal number. For simplicity, I am just explaining it by the address value as 10. So now the address value is 10. What will be the next element address? Will it be 11? No, it will be 12. Because 10 plus 1 multiplied by the scale factor is integer, it means that 2, so 10 plus 2 is 12, 12 plus 2 14, 14 plus 2 16, 16 plus 2 18, 18 plus 2 20. Now if I assume this to be an decimal value, it goes in this fashion. If I assume this to be an hexadecimal value, after 1 6, you will have 1 8 and then you will not have 2 0, instead of that it will be 1 1 and then again it continues as 1 3 and so on, right? So here, how these values move? Let's start with this particular expression. Now, assume that initially I is 0, j is 0. So substitute the values. So here, I'll say ARR. What is the base address of this? Base address is 10 plus I. Initial I is what? 0. Multiplied by n. N is 3 plus the value of j. J is also 0. So now it says asterisk of 10. That is value at address of 10. So value at address of 10, whatever the content which is there, that will be displayed on the screen. Now when you go back, what changes? I still remain same, j is 1. So if I substitute j as 1, 10 plus 0 into 3 is 10, plus 1 is 12. Because when you say plus 1, this entire thing is multiplied by something called as scale factor. So scale factor is 2. So multiplied by scale factor. So 1 multiplied by scale factor is 1 into 2 is 12. Now suppose if I say j as 2. So what happens? 10 plus 0 asterisk 3 plus 2 into SF. SF is 2. So 2 into 2 is 4 and this entire thing is 10. So 10 plus 4 is 14. So value at 14, I get the third element in this case. Now when I go back, I becomes 1. If I is 1, in that case, how it works? 10 plus 1 into 3. 10 plus 1 into 3 is 13. 13 plus again 1 into SF, that is your scale factor. So 10 plus 1 multiplied by scale factor into 3, again plus 1 into scale factor, automatically you will get this particular address as 16. You can keep on moving this in this fashion. So it means that whenever we pass an 2-dimensional array as a pointer, you have to create a pointer to the base address of this particular array and then pass the values of m and n. Now to summarize this, let's put these contents one more time in a simple fashion. So suppose if I have a main function and within this if I call a function f1 which wants to pass a 2-dimensional array which has got say 3 rows and 3 columns, then in this case I have to pass a and then only the columns, that is 3, and at the other end I have to create a function f1 and I have to declare this first as a 2-dimensional array with the first index as empty and second index with 3, the number of columns, comma the second argument as int m. And within this, if you want to access array, it has to be accessed like a normal array. Whereas if I use pointers, how do I do it using pointers? If I have this particular main function, if I have an array as int a of 3, 3, then if I call a function f1, I have to pass a name of the array, but this array need to be typecasted to an integer pointer, int asterisk a, comma, the number of rows, that is 3, the number of columns, that is 3. And at the other end, how do I do this? For this, what I need to do is, I need to say void f1. The first is always a parameter int a. Since it is a pointer, I have created a pointer, here also pointer, int m and then int n. And within the code, wherever I wish to access, I have to access it by always saying int asterisk, the pointer, that is a, plus the row value, that is I, multiplied by the number of columns. Number of columns are n, this entire thing plus j, and here I am supposed to use value. This is what the convention which you should follow for accessing an entire array. And in this case, I'll just say a of ij. So you can pass an array in two ways. Either you can pass it as an array and collect it as an array, or you can pass an array as a pointer and create a pointer for that. In both the methods, accessing mechanism differs. In the first method, we use the array conventions, and in the second method, we use this particular convention. Why this particular convention? Because this a is not treated as an array, it is treated as a pointer at this place. Multiplied by n will always make the address, base address, to move by multiple locations. That is how we pass a two-dimensional array as a parameter. Any program of two-dimensional array can be redone by using these concepts. The only change is always passing values, and rest all remains same. Thank you.